Ladies and gents, welcome back. The inquiry into the unprecedented use of the Emergencies Act to squash a peaceful protest in Ottawa back in February has been underway for about 2 weeks now, and lawyers have successfully petitioned the commission to summon Doug Ford to come in and testify. Now, I'm laughing because Doug Ford is suing to not have to testify. He's trying to get weasel his way out of this one. Now, that's not the story for today. Lawyers have also begun petitioning the court to bring in media outlets, CBC and others, to testify for the commission. And we have this story from True North. Lawyers want CBC, other outlets, to testify over Freedom Convoy misinformation, and that would be misinformation that they were spreading. Lawyers representing Freedom Convoy protesters want legacy media outlets like CBC to take the stand at Public Order Emergency Commission for what they describe as fake and misleading reporting in the movement earlier this year. As first reported by Blacklock's reporter, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms wants the CEO of CBC, Catherine Tate, to answer for the public broadcaster's coverage of the convoy. The commission is mandated to investigate information that led to the declaration of emergency. The biggest source of misinformation was the corporate press. JCCF lawyer Hatem Keir wrote into the commission. Keir's submission cited testimony of the Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, Superintendent Pat Morris, who criticized media reporting on alleged extremism and violence that wasn't substantiated by the facts on the ground at all. And we have a clip here of Pat Morris actually saying that in his testimony.
I did not see information that substantiated what was being said publicly and via the media. And I found that the subjective assertions sensationalized, yes, and exacerbated conflict.
Thank you. And just one last question for you. When you speak of the media there, and when I read to you from your letter, you said the public discourse is dominated by the media. You're speaking about the mainstream media. Is that right?
Again, that's highly subjective. I mean, in my line of work...
So you can tell me what you meant.
Well, a lot of media that I read, I can't say that they were slanted, and I mean on both sides. I can't say that because I'd have to know subjectively what they were hoping to achieve. The person who was writing it could have objectively believed that they were speaking the truth, and I'm not in a position to know that. But I do know that there are multiple media outlets, and even the definition of media has altered substantially, and there are multiple perspectives, and some of those perspectives seem to be based in confirming a worldview as opposed to, and I'm not talking about editorials because that's different. I'm talking about news reporting. That's what's important to me because people, including law enforcement officers, are informed by that information. And I saw that information, those assertions, foreign influenced, monies, etc., being played out by any number of people and talked about. And I would challenge that. And my point in this email was to make this point, which I believe is an ethical and moral point, and a point premised in law. Things like mens rea and actus reus are incredibly important in this, in determining what we see and what we base it on. So the labeling was problematic to me.
Absolutely. And we all saw the images on the first day as the convoy was rolling in. We had this one individual came out fully masked with a Confederate flag with a truck on it. It seemed very intentional, brand new flag, all this completely covered up with a balaclava, only his lips showing because he had sunglasses on as well. Now, that man came in accompanied by a photographer, and to which the media immediately went about labeling everyone involved in the protest as supporting this man, who never came back, by the way, in the whole 3 weeks that it was taking place. Another case was in a restricted area where protesters actually couldn't even get to. This one flag was sighted, seen there, and again only on the first day and never again to appear, but forever remembered by the media and echoed over and over again as part of the protest, of course, right? Superintendent Morris evidence made it clear that the members of the media were reporting unsubstantiated and false claims. As I was reporting here back in February, how the media was not showing exactly what was going on the ground. And in fact, the best way to find out what was happening on the ground was to watch the live streams. And here's a very convenient thing that somebody put together. I'll leave a link in the description down below, but it's the Convoy timeline, where you can actually go day by day, type in what day, what time you want to look, and it shows all the live streams that were actually happening. And here's a timeline of it all happening as it was going on. So you can go and actually retroactively see exactly through the entire convoy, watch every live stream that was taking place at the time. Not only that, it's got a GPS where it shows you where each individual streamer was, and shows actually the police blockades that were set up during the convoy. But here we are. This is the way it's been going. Unsubstantiated and false claims. As the head of Canada's national broadcaster, Ms. Tate should have to answer questions of her organization's role in perpetuating misinformation, explained Keir. The request by the JCCF alongside the Democracy Fund and Freedom Corporation comes following a report by the Commission, which found that the media played a big role in disseminating inaccurate information about the convoy. A question for the Commission would be who the key social media actors were who seeded the convoy movement, both individual and media, and who amplified it, wrote the report titled Mis, Dis, and Malinformation, the Convoy, an examination into the role, responsibilities of social media. Inaccurate reports spread by the media, mainstream media, at the height of the convoy protest included far-fetched claim that Russia was involved in the organization of the movement. Unbelievable. As exclusively reported by True North earlier this month, CBC Ombudsman Jack Nagler found that the public broadcaster breached its journalistic standards by linking Russia to the Freedom Convoy. The fundamental flaw, in my view, is the use of speculative question when it was not called for, wrote Nagler. And that has to do with this interview with Pinocchio Mendicino over during the convoy. So this was during it, and as it was ramping up, the question, of course, was presented. It was from the presenter here.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
Well, again, I'm going to defer.
Anyway, he doesn't bite on that one. But yeah, the media, it is a far-fetched idea. It is absolutely a far-fetched idea, and it got called out. It got called out, saying that journalistic standards were breached in asking that question because it's completely unsubstantiated. And that's the idea, right? It gives you the concept that because the question is being asked and it's not, and then it doesn't get challenged, that perhaps that may be the thing, right? So this is a interesting dynamic that was going on. Instead of Power Politics presented its question without attribution, it was not clear to viewers whether anyone was offering evidence that Russia was involved in the convoy, or why they would have such a concern. Asking the question in that way left room for people to surmise that CBC believed such evidence existed, and I don't think that they had anything. They just speaking, the whole. If you want to get to it, if you want to get to where they came from, that you'd probably have to seek a proctologist. Other misleading reports by legacy journalists included allegations that convoy protesters were involved in an unrelated arson attempt in Ottawa at an Ottawa apartment building. And of course, I covered that story, and it turned out that it was a complete hoax. It was some other people, some guy with blue hair and another individual who tried to light fires in the lobby of a apartment building. Of course, the media tried to link that to the convoy immediately, to which when it came out and the police said no, it had nothing to do with it, they ran a very, very, very small story. They didn't really get on that one too much. Anyway, that is the case. So we're hoping that they can bring the CBC and maybe other mainstream media news outlets to testify at this public inquiry into the use of the Emergencies Act and the media's role. As we know, Jim Watson himself, he said he was using the media as intel during the time. So we heard reports that the police were paying attention to the media, and then the politicians were paying attention to the media. Then the police were reporting to the media about what they'd heard on the media, and then it became this toilet bowl cycle downhill, and we didn't get any useful information from them. Like I said, check out the timeline if you want to get actually what was happening on the ground, and interviews after interviews of people there, and many Ottawa citizens coming out showing that they supported this. If you're watching the inquiry, you would get the impression that Ottawa citizens all disagreed with it. No, that was clearly not the case. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think of the situation. Do you think they'll get the CBC? Do you think that that'll be granted? It was granted to summon Doug Ford. He's currently trying to fight it and not have to go, but he still may have to. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that today. Hit that notification bell. It lets you know when I go live, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.